Pens for Men Undergarment Studios in Orange County, California. It's the Indispensable Thursday Show with Sable and Dave. Mediocrity never goes out of style.
A priest and a rabbi are discussing the pros and cons of their various religions, and inevitably, the discussion turns to repentance. Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel explains Yom Kippur, the solemn Day of Atonement that just ended a couple hours ago. You okay over there?
A little hot. My headphone. I don't want to damage my poor ears.
All right, no problem, Dave. So he just explains the Day of Atonement, which ended a couple years ago. Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel is not as delicate as Dave is. And while Father John tells him about Lent and its 40 days of self-denial and absolution from sins, after the discussion ends, the rabbi goes home and tells his wife Deborah about the conversation, and they discuss the merits of Lent versus Yom Kippur. Deborah turns her head and laughs. The rabbi says, "What's so funny?" Deborah says, 40 days of Lent, 1 day of Yom Kippur. So even when it comes to sin, the Goyim pay retail.
Wow.
That's what you get when you Google jokes about Yom Kippur. Ladies and gentlemen, Yom Kippur is over. And we have a special show today. Sable and Dave, we're here with Jesse Dollamore from I Doubt It with Dollamore. Hey, Jesse.
Here I am.
Welcome
Thanks for having me.
From the wildly popular I Doubt It show.
I don't know, wildly popular.
Oh, I did? Jesse took me backstage and showed me his downloads last time. Mm-hmm. Pretty impressive. So,
you know, you guys were
wildly popular, I think.
You two were in the bedroom for a long time. I was wondering what he was showing you.
He's a gentle lover.
100 million trillion downloads. Mm-hmm. Every person on the planet downloads it 1,000 times each, right?
The check's in the mail, so we'll see.
Nice.
It was very nice of you to slum it and come down to our show here. Thank you very much.
Very much appreciate the invite. It's good.
Cool. Well,
I'm eager and a little tepid about what's on the docket today.
Well, we actually have a really easy show for you because we thought, man, it's just cool that you're going to be here. And you probably have a million things that you want to talk about, too. So I had a couple questions aside I wanted to ask you. But, you know.
Yeah.
Other than that.
Let her rip.
All right.
Let's do this.
Well, I have to address right away the biggest, most ridiculous news of the week. And this has affected everyone in every walk of life, every smartphone user, and everyone that uses the web. And it's the event that's changed our lives called Ad Blockopolis.
Oh, yeah, the guy.
How have you survived Ad Blockopolis?
Inexplicably so, I have survived. I don't really understand exactly what's going on with this guy because it seems like he may have been, unless he's the most principled human being on the planet, paid off by somebody. Am I talking about the right thing?
Yes.
the guy that left his position after he invented the thing? Is this?
No,
I don't know.
I'm glad to hear both of you asking, what the heck am I talking about?
Okay, good.
So on the web, when you browse around the web, advertising agencies track your usage. They track you specifically. They get information about your computer, your browser, and they want to give you good ads. Now, the good guys just want to not show you the same ad 17,000 times.
How could you say that with a straight face? They
This
want
is-
to give you good ads.
This is the point. I mean, everything we do on the web is ad-supported media,
yeah.
Well,
right?
is he the genius that came up with the thing where I just bought a trampoline for my daughters, and then today I go, "Hey, you want to buy a trampoline?" I'm like, "No, I bought a trampoline."
So that's the problem. But
Yeah.
the danger of all this, and the reason that I've been using ad blockers like Disconnect Me and AdBlock Plus, and more recently uBlock Origin, is because you also get malware and people downloading 27 megabytes of JavaScript doing who knows what. It's dangerous. And so many of us in the tech world have been blocking this for years, but it's only been about 1 or 2% of all web people even bothered, right? It's nice. It makes your computer faster. But when you go to a site and it doesn't infect your computer, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So what's happened now is, the most popular computer in the United States is the iPhone. That's number one. And iOS 9 now supports ad blockers in the Safari browser. So when iOS 9 released this week, all the ad blockers went hot. So I've been using a free one called Crystal, and there's a couple others. iBlock. They all cost money, so I didn't bother with them.
So what exactly does it do?
When you go to a website, say, so I'm going to go to dollarmore.com.
On your iPhone.
In like Safari or through an app? Or
in Safari on your phone. When you go to Dollarmore, you just want all the stuff from Dollarmore. You don't want the script that's going to load from, trackingyou.usa and tracking3 and tracking set. You don't want all the other stuff that makes your phone slow.
It doesn't slow down the site, or you don't
it
get.
slows your phone down by 200 to 500%.
Okay, 200 to 500%.
Yeah, depending on the site.
Okay.
So by putting the ad blocker in, you go to CNN. It's like boom, CNN loads. You're like, hey, this is great. You browse the web, everything's fine.
Okay.
If you did this last week without an ad blocker, you might have been used to it taking 15 or 20 seconds to see a website. So what's happened is all the advertisers are going nuts. They're saying, it's not fair. You can't do that. You can't block stuff. But the truth is, it's my computer.
Yeah.
You can't control the way that I look at your website. There's some special commands you can put into Firefox that will turn every instance of any word you want into cock. So you can go to a news site and you can have every time it says
it never fails.
President
always
Obama.
Funny.
Right? There's no
3
control.
degrees to cock with him.
Wow.
I can throw out any word. 3 degrees.
Kevin Bacon
Wired.com
has a big
That was cool. That was
website. They have no
Career.
control over what it looks like.
Okay, get back on track. I'm sorry.
So the thing that you were mentioning is there's a programmer and a tech guy named Marco Arment. He also does a bunch of podcasts, and he wrote a couple of really cool apps. He made a lot of money with Tumblr. Have you heard of Tumblr? Are you a Tumblr?
I am not a Tumblr.
So he was like the first guy that coded Tumblr and then made a lot of money in that deal. So he also made an ad blocker. But because he's so popular, it became the #1 ad blocker. And then there was no way to really block the ads on his site or his buddies' sites, who all make their living from ads. Now, these are,
Right.
as far as ad sites go, if you went to loopinsight.com or you went to daringfireball.net, they have very small ads by a company called The Deck. Well, those were blocked. And Marco, I don't know if he realized that he was screwing all his friends over, who are all Apple lovers, going to their sites on Apple devices that were suddenly going to be blocked. He pulled his app off, and he's giving $100,000 in refunds. He doesn't need the money. I mean, he's
Right. He's the inventor of Tumblr, where porn is free.
That's right. Isn't Tumblr great?
The only reason I know that is because of another podcast that I listen to, and apparently they say that Tumblr is
You listen to other podcasts?
lousy with the porn. Oh yeah, I'm for sure listening to. I'm a two-timer.
I think Tumblr is like the best place to find the nudie pictures.
This reminds me of the cab drivers angry with the Uber drivers.
Mm-hmm.
Because, look, this is free market fixes this because
Innovation.
we like the ads blocked, but then the advertisers go, we're not paying you anymore, CNN. So then the CNN has to go, okay, we have to charge you now. So if you're using the ad blocker and you want to go to CNN, you can't see it. So are you going to pony up your $1.99 a month?
No,
if
no,
you don't, then
CNN's going
you
to
don't
find
like CNN enough.
Well, I think it's a
guess.
supplemental income stream for them, revenue stream. It's not necessarily.
Well, in CNN, yeah, in that case, right.
I think for most websites, you go to the big websites, they're all ad based. They make all their money off of it, and that's why there's so many of them. Classic example was an Apple website called imore.com. Great website, great reporters, great information, but 27 megabytes of script and ad and third-party stuff. And the editor would even say, we know it's terrible. We know it sucks, but that's how we make our money.
That's big of him.
So we kind of have to do that. So I think what's going to happen is they're going to follow our model where I would say to the audience, instead of referring them to a third party, I'll say, if you really like the show, I would like you to support the show when you shop at Amazon. So if you go to the indispensableshow.com/Amazon and make all your purchases, you'll kick us back a penny or two.
Or as I say on my show, if you're going to spend your money anyway at Amazon.com, why not use the affiliate link of the Indispensable Thursday Show?
Thank you, and it puts a few shekels in our pocket.
Right. So
They still using those?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
So the ad blockers won't block that kind of an ad. So the people are going to have to change the way they do advertising. Do you remember pop-ups? Were you
Yeah.
a computer user?
They're still there. I mean, the browsers have just gotten
Right. So pop-ups got really annoying, and every browser started blocking pop-ups. So the pop-up model went away, and a new model came. And now every browser will eventually block all the garbage, and then a new model will come, and that's how it works. Like that's the,
Like you said,
the
Innovation.
democracy
Innovation,
of it.
yeah.
Yep,
I've said it before: innovation over regulation.
that's right.
Did I whisper that?
No, generally, I agree with that.
Yeah.
For sure, that is generally that which with I agree.
We're gonna get into our French vanilla versus vanilla bean arguments
right.
again tonight.
Oh, vanilla bean all the way.
Our colors of conservatism are
For
actually
sure.
quite similar.
For sure. I'm vanilla bean. You're French vanilla guy.
I believe Tillamook has 4
Freedom
different
vanilla.
styles of vanilla. So you might have to be even more discerning.
We're gonna get way into the weeds
Yeah.
tonight. I guarantee it.
Well, before you get into the weeds, I want to ask you, how's your cord cutting going?
It's going well. We just encountered. Well, we did the debate without because we have Sling, and we just picked up Hulu. And then there was a recent development. You're putting me on the spot. That
The Emmy show. I heard you were
The
having
Emmy
trouble with
show.
the Emmy show.
Yeah, we did have we went out and bought the HD antenna, which was a fiasco. If you've listened to the show,
None of them work.
well, this
Except
one
the one at
works.
Costco
I mean,
that I put on
fully.
my wall and works absolutely perfectly beautiful.
Yeah, well,
Well, I don't know.
Pull it
This
out,
one
Trey.
I had to. Everything, all the other channels worked. I just had to, like it was 1950, and hold. I should have like put foil on it and.
I have
stretched
done
it
that.
out. But it ended up working fine. I
Okay,
just
all
had
right.
to. It's now off the wall. I hung it up in a weird position above a door jamb.
Uh-huh.
It works now. It's great. But we don't watch a lot of network TV. Most of the TV we watch is available on Hulu, or we watch it on Sling.
So let me
Yeah.
get this straight. You don't have to pay Time Warner Cable $150 a month to watch the Emmys?
We were paying Uverse, AT&T Uverse, $200 a month
Yikes.
for internet and cable. And the only movie channel we had was HBO.
HBO's cool. I
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
great. And we're going to pick up HBO as soon as the good shows come back
Right.
on. But
When
we'll
Game
do
of
it-
Thrones and
Right.
Silicon Valley come back, they'll get my $15 a month.
yeah.
But $200, no.
Like
Right.
I could
Too
spend that
much.
money on a lot of bourbon.
Yes.
Right? If you're gonna spend your money anyways, you might as well spend it on something you really enjoy.
That is exactly right. What perfect and articulate wording, Sable.
I cut cord 6 years ago. We've been going strong on that.
It's-
Sling crashes my Roku box, so I think I told you every
Well,
every 15
love,
minutes.
What I love about this, the Sling especially, because it goes back to the innovation thing, is Sling comes out and there's not a lot of options right now relative to streaming content that is live. I mean, I think they may be the only one or the only big player.
Yeah.
What's great about it is they're a dish network company. So these other companies are going to have to answer to stay competitive.
Right.
And then the channel lineups are going to go from 20 to 25 to 30 to 40 to 50. Who knows where it's going to lead, but
Right.
because they've stepped out and they've innovated in this field and in this industry, good things are ahead of us. The future is at hand.
Now, did you get
Thank the
Hulu
maker.
without ads or with ads?
With ads, which I don't care. It's
They
seriously
didn't bother
it's-
you?
It's 2, maybe 30-second ads that run 4 times. So you might get 8 ads, a total of like 2 minutes. Whatever. It's fine.
What got me about Hulu when I was a subscriber before they had the no ad option was it would be the same ad every single time.
It's still the same ad.
I'd be like, I'd watch 10 minutes of show and then I'd see the same stupid ad. And I was like, I would almost rather just pay $3 and buy the episode on Apple TV and then just watch it in HD nonstop.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm fine with the ads, and I don't mind those companies making a little money. That generates revenue. I do notice a difference between Sling TV, where there is no ads for Sling, and Hulu. It's that after about an hour, Sling TV says, "Hey, buddy, are you still watching? Because we're going to turn this off if you're not here."
Right.
Hulu doesn't care because they're making their money from the advertising.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
So I'll put on a show. I put on this Flora.tv, and they just do these lectures by these scientists and stuff.
I've seen those. Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
such
Great.
just a dirty nerd. And I'll just like they'll have these entire series on like the what's the Kurt Waldheim the what's the edge of a black hole?
The singularity.
The singularity,
or,
the technological singularity. They have a whole series of lectures with all these different people, and it's awesome. And I'll just go to sleep and hope that it sinks in somehow.
Yeah, the box there is like, there's no way someone could be interested in this for more than 22 minutes. We've done the research, so they're going to send you hey, are you...
Right.
I don't watch any... I used to love those types of shows, but I know now that in 500 years, the scientists are going to be watching those shows. And like, they do nothing about effing black holes. They're all completely wrong. So I'm like, why watch them now?
The great thing
we don't
is
know what
we'll all be dead, and I won't... There's no way to feel embarrassed, so...
But our consciousness will exist in our future bodies, our
Or
future
computers...
Trans-physical
Ray
cells.
Kurzweil. Is that you're talking Ray Kurzweil?
Yeah,
That's right.
Okay, that's
Who did I say? Did I
You
not
said
say
Kurzweil,
You
but
said
I didn't.
Kurzweil.
Waldenberg or
Yeah.
something.
No, Waldenberg.
We could roll it back. Waldenheimer.
Yeah, play that back.
Wait, then I have to stop recording.
Yeah.
So, and we're streaming live here, by the way. I'd
Yes.
like to,
Yeah.
It doesn't really help with I guess it does, since they're listening to us talk about streaming live. To what? One person still?
Well, there's one person watching
don't tell
live.
us. Oh.
However, this is going to be archived on YouTube, so people can go back and watch it
Yeah,
again.
more people will go
Absolutely.
there.
That's great.
So if we go back in a couple of weeks, there might be 7 or 8 views. I'm actually not trying to push anything on the live stream. I just think it's pretty cool.
I'm fascinated by it. It's something we've thought about exploring at some point.
Right. I think it's cool that YouTube offers it, and so we're trying it out. We've got, just for those of you listening and not watching the live stream, we have Dave's old Logitech webcam from his
It's a Soviet
drawer.
issue from the 80s.
I think it
It's
was
working pretty
I think
good.
it was sitting under a 25-pound weight.
Yeah, it's about
In your drawer?
4 feet high by 6 feet. It's pretty big.
It used to be normal from all the compression. Now it's a fisheye lens.
It might have been used to hold up a creaky leg on your desk for the last 2 years, but now it's here in the studio with a I don't know, some 10-year-old USB extender propped precariously on top of a bunch of CDs. Those are compact discs for you youngins that has music on them before MP3s.
Are you have that much of a grasp of your demographics that youngins are listening? That's
Well-
good. No, that's good. I don't have that.
Well, I have to say my cousin is trying to work a deal right now with a tech website, and some of their demographics will be a little bit younger. And so if my cousin happens to listen as the mediator between me and this deal, he might not know what a CD is. He is 22 or 23.
Wow.
It's possible that he has never owned a CD in his life.
That's fascinating to me.
Now, on the flip side, I gotta give a little explanation. After the long day of Yom Kippur services, you're not supposed to be eating food, which I didn't. But then you go to a party called
Sounds
Break
like
the
total
Fast.
BS to me, man.
You cannot eat for 12 hours. It's not a big deal.
You can also eat for 12 hours.
It's true. But we went to...
If you take a sip of water, God will send you to hell, and Liberace will pound you.
He's a Jew. There's no
Oh,
hell. They
right,
don't believe in
right. Okay.
hell.
it's not
right.
really a big deal. And I think our rabbi confessed that she doesn't believe in God to about 350, 400 people.
That is the bizarre thing.
That was great.
About the Jews, man.
She was like, and many of us are here and don't even believe in a traditional God.
And she went like with this, like winking. Was that what you meant by?
Was it YouTube's live streaming when she did it? So there was others. Here, that's a beautiful thing about Judaism, and that maybe because it's older than Christianity and older than Islam, maybe these other faiths that are young relative to Judaism, maybe we're going to become mature over the course. And not we, because I don't subscribe to any of these fairy tales. But maybe there will be some maturation process over the course of the next 1,000 years, although my prediction would be within 500 years, there will be no religion.
Wouldn't that be
It
great?
would be awesome to have Christianity be like, yeah, we don't really buy the God thing. That would be an astonishing time.
The things that religion does for people, I'm not sure that it outweighs the negatives in society today. But, if we go back thousands of years, people didn't know what was the correct way to behave, to treat people. We didn't really have, like in the time of Hammurabi, we had this code of ethics.
Yeah, that's law though. People knew. I say this. Look, it's not like when Moses, the burning bush and the Mount Sinai, and he gets the tablets. It's not like before that, it was A-okay to kill your neighbor. That's no way. That wasn't the way it was. Everybody knew.
But that's
you don't
how it
kill.
was everywhere. But that's how it was everywhere in the world. You and your group of your family and your friends, you're like, I want to go over there. I like that girl, and I like where they're on the river. And so you get together at night and you go kill everyone but the girl that you like.
You mean like the entire Old Testament?
That's just how it was in history.
You bring up a good point too.
Right? I mean, it's pretty terrible. But what we have is thousands of years later, right? We don't need to manipulate and control people. Religion was referred to as opiate for the masses.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's a way for
Karl Marx said that.
Right? As a way for people to get consumed in something that isn't their daily lives. And now we can use religion as a community, as a charity, as a way to get people together on a positive note.
Well, that's where I think your people have done a good thing. I say that tongue in cheek, your people, because it's more cultural for a lot of Jews than it is religious.
Well, and
then what happens when you see these ultra crazy, hyper religious Jews? They're assholes who have the world has a problem with them.
Yep.
Whether it be, ostracizing or kidnapping women in New York City, and then they kill themselves because they're not being allowed to live their lives, or the settlements and the way, then we're getting into touchy territory. But these radicals, they're fundamentalists, and that's the problem I have with religion. I don't know how the hell we got here, but
that's one of my subjects.
I think we went
because you're an ex-Christian.
I am.
I think we went
I
from
find that very interesting.
cord cutting to
cord cutting.
Yeah, I cut the cord with Christianity a long time ago.
Yeah.
There's another point on cord cutting that I wanted to step back on.
Back to cord cutting from
I
religion?
love it. I'm in the midst of it right now.
Well, so I was a cord cutter from long ago. I sort of discovered that you could download things and purchase them and stream them years and years ago. And my wife was a big cable person. So we had cable for a couple years, and it was just god awful. And so 5 or 6 years ago, I took the cable box back, and I said, you're just going to have to live without it. And we found ways. So we've been using the Apple TV for a few years now, and it's been fantastic. I bought, every couple of months we buy a movie on iTunes. We rent stuff on iTunes. So by this point, I've got dozens of kids' movies on iTunes, lots of music. It ties in with my computer. It's kind of like the perfect thing, everything but Amazon is on there. We happen to have Amazon Prime, and I discovered my television itself has an Amazon app.
Oh, wow.
So
we've got the Roku streaming stick, which is kind of like Google Chromecast, which we also have. And it's beautiful because then you can every single one of those. And then I recently realized, for those of you out there who might have Sling TV, you can also download the ESPN app, and then you can stream directly from ESPN, because sometimes Sling gives me problems.
Oh, okay.
And you just list your cable provider as Sling TV.
Oh,
that's the trick.
You sign in through the app,
Okay.
and then but then you only have access to the channels that you have access to on Sling. Because I tried to do like the SEC network and watch an Alabama game, and they were like, "Nope, we see what you're doing here, buddy. You only get ESPN and ESPN2."
That's an exclusive tip on the Indispensable Thursday show.
Yeah.
Good hack.
Yeah. So there's one more thing about streaming I want to mention, because we could talk about it all day. Everyone's talking about it. It's great. But I heard about this service called Hoopla. Have you heard of this?
It's familiar, but I don't know what it is.
I don't know what it is.
HOOPLA, hoopladigital.com. And this is blowing my mind. If you have the right library subscription, and it has to be the right one, there's a list of libraries like in
what do you mean by library subscription?
Like Los Angeles Public Library.
Oh, like library.
Cal State San Bernardino Library. Like there's a list of a few hundred libraries that you can belong to. Seattle Public Library, Tacoma. Then you can go to this site, hoopladigital.com, and you can watch movies like The Girl on the Train, Naturally, Do You Believe, a Goofy movie.
You're totally describing my collection right now, like even alphabetically. That's amazing.
You can listen to albums, Lana Del Rey or what's this? Jewel. I mean, this is just what's on the homepage. You can read.
The only thing I need Jewel for is maybe if I have an errant can that needs opened because of her.
Okay, you can listen to Sam Smith or X Deluxe Edition, or you can read comic books.
So that's Hoopla.
You can check out books. If you're into the paleo diet, then you could get the paleo slow cooker.
You're looking at both of us across the table. Neither one of us is on the paleo diet or any other. for
Any
that
kind
matter.
of. The point is, I need to get a subscription. What is it? A magazine? No, I need a library card.
Yeah.
Boy,
Yeah,
wow,
it's-
that was hard to get out. I need to get
Maybe
a library
you are
card.
one of these millennial types that you're referring to. This other demographic, a subscription to a library. I think it's not a membership. What is it? You're
you just show your ID and then you get a library card.
Yeah,
This is
library
like
card.
Overdrive. There's another app like that.
You were telling me about
Yeah,
Overdrive,
you can check
my
out books.
my
online.
best friend,
but you get audiobooks too.
Brett number one from I Doubt It with Dollamore. He is a library guy because he
Okay.
listens to audiobooks all the time, and they have a
Hoopla has
robust.
lots of audiobooks. You can listen to F Feelings by Michael Bennett and Sarah Bennett,
stream
MD.
it through the app.
Well, I'm sure you download it through the app so you can listen to it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I
that
mean,
is good.
I just thought, we're in the world of streaming now. Suddenly the library is relevant.
Yeah.
I'm like, I gotta find one of these libraries.
You know what it is? Innovation.
Innovation.
Can you put an echo real quick? Innovation.
Innovation.
Chun.
Make a 2628 time code.
But they're not a sponsor of ours, right?
Innovation.
Strangely
No.
enough, though,
yet.
I do have a new sponsor. I met with them, last week. I have a live read here. I thought it'd be fun if we have Jesse just do a cold live read of this.
Oh, that'd be great.
It'll
I'd love to hear
definitely be a
that.
cold
Yeah,
live read.
So our new sponsor.
New sponsor. Ladies, does your husband or boyfriend have trouble not looking down the waitress's top while she's putting his glass of iced tea on the table? Does he walk into the light post while watching young girls rinse off in the outdoor showers at the beach? Well, like most, scratch that, nearly all men the world over have this problem. But it's not necessarily his fault. He may be suffering from RPS, restless penis syndrome. This affliction is terrible. But there's a solution. Salty Pete is the brand of jerky that not only lowers his sex drive, but it tastes great. Simply slip it into his lunchbox or suggest it as a pre-dinner snack. One strip a day is usually enough to achieve the desired effect. You can get all the information about Salty Pete at heyeyesoverherefella.net. That's hey, ! eyesoverherefella.net. Get your 2-week supply free by entering the promo code TITS at checkout. That's TITS at checkout. Side effects may include increased time spent out back in the wood shop or anal leakage.
Oh.
Very good. Support us. Go to that website.
Hey, eyesoverhere.net.
Hey, eyesoverhere.net. Oh, no. Hey, eyesoverherefella.net.
.net.
Thank you. Very good.
That's
All right.
hey, eyesoverherefella.net.
Yeah.
Now, if you thought that bit was funny,
That wasn't a bit. That's a real
That's
company.
what are you
Sable.
talking about?
Oh,
How
I'm sorry.
dare you,
if,
sir?
if you have anything to
Sir,
say about
how dare you?
Myron over there in sales is going to be calling tomorrow, and he's going to be pissed.
if you want to give Myron in sales a message about his company, about how to get a hold of more Salt Pete, you can call
Salty
Pete. I didn't have a copy of this
I
copy.
know.
I'm sorry.
The meeting was like last night, very late.
You can call us on the hotline.
Oh,
Yeah.
Dave, what's the hotline number?
657-206-0777. Once again, that number, 657-206-0777.
that is so
Nice.
sad. Jesse has the number memorized, and I did not.
It took him about 6 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
I may never forget it now.
a mnemonic device. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah. the
Mnemonic
206. And then the 0777 is
Yeah,
easy because
that writes itself.
Yeah.
0777, yeah.
yeah,
announces
0777.
So did you guys know, and I didn't give anybody notes. By the way, we don't do notes. I write a couple things down. I actually didn't write down half of what I wanted to. Dave has a couple things down. Jesse's just sitting there playing with his phone.
No, I just got text by someone.
Oh, it's okay.
And it's very important, apparently.
Are you having text?
I'm
while
sure it
you're
is.
on the show?
It's probably one of our viewers
Yes.
Oh.
texting you live. Nice. So Did you know that Warner Chappelle Music is going to lose about $2 million a year now?
I think I know why.
I don't know who Warner Chappelle Music.
Oh, ho, ho, ho. So not only do we not know, but nobody cares Warner Chappelle Music. Dave, do you have any idea?
I do. I know the story we're talking about, and I don't care, actually.
Tell me.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to
Right.
you.
So the Happy Birthday song was never supposed to be in copyright. Warner Chappelle Music has been
Public domain, right?
well.
Now it is.
It always was supposed to be, but they've won the legal argument for the last 80 years on it, and they've been charging and suing people about $2 million a year.
Really? What are they, Prince?
So if you wanted to use the Happy Birthday in your movie, it would cost you like $10,000 to $20,000.
Wow.
So even
And restaurants too, they have to pay a royalty, like TGI Fridays. They can't. They make up their own birthday.
Right.
that's
yeah.
why
Yeah.
that's why they always do their crazy happy birthdays. Even the documentary, the Happy Birthday documentary, could only afford 8 seconds of the Happy Birthday song.
Even
Isn't
the
that free?
document.
Even the
Eight seconds is
documentary.
free, is it not? 7 or 8.
No,
6, 7,
not when
8?
you're doing a
No?
film.
Oh, okay.
No, in a commentary show like this, we can do fair use.
Terrible.
But if you're doing it for profit, you're making a documentary about a song, you need to license the song.
Wow.
But Warner Chappelle lost this week.
Oh, good.
And Happy Birthday song is now free.
Oh, so that is why you
And I
have
happen
this
to have-
giant guitar.
So I'd like,
Ukulele.
as a special gift, so my wife's birthday is next week,
Oh.
and she might hear this on our trip.
You know this is an impossible song to sing correctly.
Oh, but
It
I've
is
got,
pretty tough.
but I've got a special way to do it. So you just follow me, and her name is Lori.
Watch me for the changes.
You got it. You get it, right? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Lori.
Lori.
Happy birthday to you. Nice.
But you changed it up anyway. You should do it exactly like the song,
Oh,
so we won't have to
right.
pay the
You're
royalty.
right,
We can not pay the royalty and be happy.
Oh, just
Never mind. She got it.
defiantly.
You're right,
Defiantly.
defiantly. Yeah.
That's so difficult.
I have heard it's a very hard song to sing,
Well, it's 'cause it's
even
not-
if you're a
it's
good
not-
singer.
It's not scale.
Yeah.
It's
It jumps up wildly.
terrible.
Yeah, and people usually have been drinking beer with cake, so it makes it harder.
When
to
I
sing it.
used to, and this is long ago, but when I used to frequent an establishment that may or may not rhyme with Outback Steakhouse, they changed their song. This was back in Northern Virginia when I lived there. But the song was "Have an Aussie Awesome Birthday." Have an Aussie Awesome Birthday.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it's terrible. And then I moved to Idaho back home, and whoever was the franchisee there was like, "We're not doing that stuff." So no more songs, no more birthdays.
Steakhouse from the land down.
And now
under.
they
That
can-
was our old commercial. We were Outback Steakhouse.
Right.
Yeah.
Put another shrimp on the barbie, mate.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Oh my. They have a nice blooming onion. That's about it.
Yeah, I look at the blooming onion and I think it tastes so good, and I'm gonna die when I eat it.
Hey, man.
I just ate there a few weeks ago, but I'm not a huge fan.
You're gonna die anyway. Why not have a good time while you're here?
I think the dog gave us a gift.
Oh, thanks a lot,
He
Coda.
often.
Wow.
Jesse's probably heard us react to
Oh,
the
for
farts.
sure.
Now he's going to experience
nice.
it.
Coda is.
I mean, the gift is not nice.
This is not
Speaking
how
of
I
happy
want the
birthday,
dog.
Lori. Your birthday gift does not happen to be in here right now while this dog is doing this biz.
Ooh, yeah.
That is ripe. Not just
Oh,
ripe.
my.
That's pungent. That is stingy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like a bee sting in my nose hole.
Yeah. Ooh, ow. So, what did you have for Jesse, Dave? I've been monopolizing.
Yeah, it's
here.
my only. I only occasionally I'll have a minor beef with Jesse and stuff. This one's actually a recurring beef, but I didn't get to talk about it when we were on your show.
Yeah.
And I usually, it's funny because I was listening to you were talking about the kid who made the clock that kind of looked like a bomb, and everybody flipped out and they arrested him.
Well, I will take umbrage with your description.
Ahmed.
Okay.
It didn't look like a bomb. It's because people don't know what a bomb looks
Right.
like. So they don't have any training to know whether it looks like a bomb or whether it just looks like a circuit board.
Yeah.
They suspected it was a bomb.
Yeah, I mean, you were going for the story, and I was like, but right at the end, you kind of like wrapped it all up, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's what I was thinking. It happens every time because it's like, yes, it looked a little suspicious, but they easily probably could have checked with the goddamn electronics teacher he brought it in for and said, is this a
Yes.
bomb? He could have said, no,
That's
it's
it.
a clock. So there you go.
So what happens on the show is we talk about
The show
past event.
the show would be I Doubt It with Dollamore
Yeah.
at
You don't need
dollamore.com.
that. Apparently, we have 5 million downloads, so nobody needs to know what the name of the show is.
But the one you get from us might be the one that becomes your favorite Patreon supporter.
That's right.
And
Ooh.
donates more than $500 per episode per month at patreon.com/Jesse Dollamore.
No, / I doubt it with Dollar.
Oh.
If you're going to do it.
Patreon.com/I Doubt It with Dollamore.
That's pretty good.
So, what happens is we talk about a topic after it's happened. So it's armchair quarterback. We
Yeah.
know
Right.
what happened, and then we critique, and then at the end is when I think I said, here's what they should have done.
Yeah, and then I was like, yeah, that was pretty much what
Yeah.
I thought.
Yeah,
It always happens.
I think sending the kid to the principal's office was not a bad choice.
Yeah, that was okay. That was fine.
It's fine.
But cuffing him for his own safety
you
was a little.
Yes.
a little
Come
much.
on. Have you seen the kid?
Yeah.
Handcuffing him and not having his parents called immediately when he asked for
Yes.
them was
Right.
wrong.
Not only that, but there was really no need to call the cops because you sequester him and then you go ask the engineering teacher, "Hey, you're a smart guy.
That's who he brought the thing for, too.
What is this? Is this a bomb, do you think?" And he's like, no, dummies. It's a circuit board. It's a clock. It's a basic thing.
Well, at our party, our post-holiday party tonight, there's a friend of mine is a retired Orange County sheriff, currently working for the DOJ. And I asked him, what did he think about this? And he had not heard, and none of his friends had been talking about what's going on in Irving, Texas with Ahmed. So I gave him the brief explanation. And before I could give him any of my opinion, he said, well, it wasn't a bomb. The school official knew it wasn't a bomb. I said, what are you talking about? He said, if they had suspected it was a bomb, the first thing they would have
Evacuate the
done is
school.
evacuated
Right.
the school and then called the police.
Right.
He said, did they evacuate? You didn't say they evacuated.
Well, there is some discrepancy in how the child acted while being questioned by the school. That's that he may have been like, I mean, I'm getting different sides from different sides, and it's which side you want to believe. But I have heard that he was a little bit more obstinate. And look, when you're a kid, and I was a problem kid, so I'll be the first to admit, had I been brought in, I might have been like, F you, I don't have to tell you anything. It's a clock.
It's a clock. What are you, an idiot? Why am I in here?
Is this a bomb? You're a kid, and I don't know. Listen, the adults in this situation, because he's a 90-pound, 14-year-old kid, child. The adults, the onus is on them to act correctly, and to make the right decisions. And they clearly did not, because I wish I had my banjo music to click on, but they're just hillbillies from Texas who are frightened by the fact that his name is Ahmed Mohammed.
Right.
Right now, whose fault is it that people get a little jumpy when a guy named Mohammed brings something that looks like it could possibly be explosive?
I don't.
Would
listen,
it be Saudi
No, we
Arabia?
agreed. They should.
No.
They could look into it. They could have determined it was not a bomb.
Let's analyze your language. Whose fault is that? Well,
Yeah.
Nobody's fault that I feel unsafe or that I feel uneasy around Muslims. Maybe I don't, but it wouldn't be their fault. It would be
Muslims, or I'm talking about jihadists. That's what I'm talking about. A lot of dudes named Mohammed.
Sure.
They're running around slitting throats
But
on
if you
video
see
and stuff like that.
if you see an angry young Muslim, how do you know that he's just an angry young guy and not a jihadist?
I'm always going to assume that they're not going to kill me.
Right.
Which might kill me in the end, but I'm always assuming that everyone's cool. I'm always smiling at everybody, and
It's
I'm,
the rational assumption is no, they're not here to blow us up.
No, generally
But a
not.
lot of people, I think a lot of people in the country are just afraid. They're ignorant and they're afraid.
Well,
the English teacher was afraid and ignorant. The principal was
and there's
afraid
the zero
and
tolerance
ignorant.
policy where you got the people getting in trouble for drawing guns and things. It's like it's all kind of
making
coming
the gun
to a,
sign.
yeah.
There was that
kindergarten kids.
That's all
right?
kind of creating a perfect storm. That had something to do with it
But
too.
that's part of the ignorance. Could you imagine some like do-gooder teacher kicking your kid out of school because he went bang bang?
Yeah, no, you're right.
I mean,
For sure.
I would be annoyed.
I would want to like take the woman out and spray her with a hose.
Why's it got to be a woman?
most primary school teachers are women.
Best for the visual if she's
Right.
wearing like a white top, white
so
t-shirt.
here-
That would be good.
The difficulty is that it's like air travel. You have almost a 0% chance. It's like 0.00001 that you're going to die in a plane crash. Yet people are still fearful of air travel and crashing and dying in a plane crash. Well, it's the same with Islamist terrorism in the United States.
Right, irrational fear.
It's irrational fear. We have 350 million people in this country, and let's say 1 or 2 die. I mean, this year's been bad because we had Chattanooga, and we've had other instances, the Boston bombing, but not this year, but in past years. But still, those numbers, you're probably safer from terror than you are from air travel at this point. So it is irrational, and I wouldn't say ignorant, other than the fact that they're not really logically coming to grips with the fact of what the odds are, the math of it.
I think people in general don't understand real odds.
Well, people still play the lottery,
Yeah,
so
they still
you're
go.
right.
The casinos are full out there in Vegas. I was
Right.
just there a few weeks ago.
I mean, if you're, and I've had this, I've small children, 4, 6, and 8, and I've spoken with a lot of parents over the last 8 years, and they're afraid of the craziest things. That, if you're really worried about your kids, don't have a pool in your backyard.
Yeah,
Because pools are what kill most young
especially
kids.
if you're Tommy Lee.
Oh, ow!
Now, if you're worried about your teenager, you know what kills teenagers?
Car accident?
Cars.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you're really concerned about your teenager, don't let them drive
Yeah.
until they're in their 20s.
Especially not the boys. They're the worst apparently.
Well, if you look at
Male drivers,
if
16
you look
or
at
whatever.
insurance rates, the highest insurance rate is for a teenage girl.
Really?
They have the most
Well,
accidents.
Oh, okay. Texting maybe. They love to text, maybe even more than the boys.
Probably makeup,
I don't know. Yeah.
probably talking on the phone. I don't know.
Their periods get in the way.
I actually-
They're trying to change their
They get in the way.
My wife's insurance on an older car was more expensive than mine on a newer car, and I asked the insurance agent why. And then he sort of let me in on some generalities, and one of them was, if you want to have good motorcycle insurance that's inexpensive, you don't buy the most popularly crashed motorcycle. So you don't buy a Honda CBR 1000 because more people land those on their heads. You
Yeah.
get something that's not that motorcycle.
They're
You
playing.
don't
the
get a
odds.
Katana
They
because
do play the odds over
right.
there.
So
I'm doing the same thing, by the way.
What? Yeah, grab me. We didn't pour enough whiskey. That's what
oh
happened,
no.
maybe.
Oh. Well, you guys could talk for a minute and I could go get whiskey.
That's good because I'll bring up my bee in the bonnet thing. Finally, after all this time.
Bee in the bonnet.
Well, yeah.
And then I'll have to go back on the stream and listen to find out what I missed. So
okay.
yeah, ice,
Do your thing, son.
rye.
Okay, all right.
Be right back.
Okay. Anyway, so I have a little preamble. It's related to gay marriage,
Yeah.
which I don't oppose. necessarily.
Listen, when you say I'm
I'm not like
opposed,
I don't care. It's not that big of an issue with me.
It
Actually,
should be a big issue for you. But go ahead,
Well,
do
we'll
your
get it.
thing.
We'll get it.
Give me your bee and your
while
illustrious bonnet.
my let's start with gay people definitely beaten up and harassed more than the average person. That sucks. They actually have a higher instance of being like
Sure.
just beaten, killed. This sucks. If you're a person,
But
by
it's
the way,
not even about what happens now. It's about what's happened generations in the past.
yeah,
Yeah.
even generations probably it might even have been worse, but
Sure.
they this sucks. If you are a person, if you're a listener who beats up gay people, please drink a gallon of bleach.
Yeah, do something
Something terrible to yourself or good, in my opinion.
Right.
And that's why I think actually gay people should get an easier concealed carry permit. They should always be carrying. If you pack fudge, you should pack heat. That's what I say.
I say
good
and
bumper sticker.
I have said I don't think I'd put that on my automobile.
Oh, okay.
But I do say this, that had I been black or gay in the 50s, I would have been dead, because I wouldn't have been laying down and just taking it. I wouldn't have been not being able to eat at white lunch counters.
Sadly,
I wouldn't have been
true.
I would have been.
Yeah,
I'm
a
here,
guy
I'm
like you
queer,
sadly could. Yeah,
you
right.
get
Right.
used to it. I would
Right.
have been in your face.
Right. But now the thing is that,
Or I think I would have. I hope I would have.
Yeah, I hope I would have too. The thing I always go "Arr," is
When you listen to me.
when I listen to you and Brittany too, but it's
Well,
I'm
probably
getting
more with me because I identify as a conservative.
I suppose. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, Brittany's a liberal. You expect her to have liberal
Right. Yeah.
viewpoints.
Good
Sure,
point. Good
yeah.
point.
I always have
seems
good
like
points,
100% of the time, as soon as someone says they don't want to change the definition of the word marriage, it's automatic gay hatred. But I want to know, like, how is that different from if I say I think Obamacare is horrible? It's going to be the worst thing ever. Oh, you hate black people.
I don't agree. I think Obamacare is terrible.
Yeah, I don't think you'd say that, though. I don't think you'd call me a racist because I think he's a bit of a douchebag and whatever, this for that or that. But yet, if someone, and you're an ex-Christian, you probably knew some people who were like, well, I'd prefer maybe just to keep marriage the same. Let's have it be something else, but I don't think we should have it. But or did they all hate gay people?
No, I don't think that. And I've come around a lot on this issue. I used to be an apologist for Christians on this, even when I was an atheist.
Oh wait, yeah. Let me real quick though. Yeah, when you were because you said you were a rah for Jesus dude back when you were for Jesus.
Sure.
Did you ever?
I sang in Christian bands. I toured in Christian bands.
Yeah, that's what, when you said you were a singer. I thought, okay,
super Jesus-y.
Yeah, super Jesus-y. When I think the answer is no. But when you were a super rah Jesus guy, did you harbor any hatred of gay people at all?
I wouldn't have called it hate then. I would have been a hate the sin, love the sinner.
Love sinner, hate the sin.
Which is, it's BS. It's BS. If at your core, you are, like, you're hetero. If I was to say, you having sex with your wife is an abomination to God. And my belief system is that unless you get right with God, you're going to burn in hell forever, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I've had people tell me
do
that.
that anyway, but
right
to my face.
But at your core, you're a heterosexual.
Yeah,
you didn't choose heterosexuality. You're a heterosexual.
Right.
So if I say at your core, who you are is worthy of death, because that's what it says in the Bible.
Leviticus.
Is that? Am I saying to you that? Wow, I love you, but I just hate that darn heterosexual sin.
Liberals do this a lot. They just don't believe Republicans when they say, I don't hate black people. They go, yeah, you do.
No, I get that, but you're conflating two issues now. You're talking about the gay thing and about hating the sin versus the sinner thing. I do think that there are people out there who really want to protect marriage as a definition. And they say, well, civil unions. And I'll give them some space, and that's okay. That's okay with me. I think that they are wrongheaded and they're steeped in tradition and what they're just used to, but I don't think they're all hateful.
Okay, good.
Now, if you believe homosexuality is an abomination, you're hateful.
And your gut, you'll know this better than me because I grew up here and I grew up basically an atheist. I don't really know. Even the Christians I know are kind of like, whatever. Well, yeah, I smoked dope and I had sex, but Jesus, man. But really, like in your gut, what percentage of people are like the abomination, love the sinner?
What percentage?
Yeah, what do you think?
I don't know.
I know
I've
this
been
is
out
a
of
guess.
it so long.
But, yeah.
I've been out of it for so long.
Back then, even
an abomination. I think that the number is decreasing very rapidly right now.
You're talking people who believe that extreme, or people who?
Well, I'm talking about because I always got the impression from his show that anyone who was opposed to gay marriage automatically hates gay
listen,
people.
When we talk about it on the show, we talk about people like Kim Davis, who is a hateful, hostile.
I think she's definitely a whack job, but I mean, has she harmed any gay people other than the guys who may have to drive?
Taking away their right?
Well, other than the guys who may have to drive to another county to get married.
No.
Can't they?
Listen, don't just put it like, oh, they just have to drive down the road. She's stripping away their civil rights. All the black people in the 50s had to do was drive to the next diner across the tracks.
I don't think
it's civil rights we're talking about.
Jesse, you just have to use the next bathroom.
Talk about conflating two issues, though. Like because up until recently, Obama did not support gay marriage.
You're right.
He was lying, I think, of course, about it. But
you're right.
Do you think
May 10th, 2012?
You know the date
was the date that he changed.
Awesome,
which is wrong. He's a hypocrite and a liar.
Yeah, I think so.
Well,
and so Hillary Clinton.
But if he lied, I agree with you that it's wrong. But I think if his opinion changed due to new information,
what new information did he have, Zabel?
I don't know. But
science is in.
But sometimes people get ridiculed for changing their mind. But if you get new information that you didn't know yesterday,
he's a lying, pandering politician. That's what it is, and I accept
that's probably
that.
true. It's probably true.
But anyway, like let's say though, because he was supported by probably most gay folks
Yeah.
for that.
Lesser of two evil
Do you
kind of a
think
thing.
he would
Hope
have?
and
Do you think
change.
he would have been supported if he was even lying about not supporting interracial marriage? I think he would have been tossed out. If he would have said, "I don't," if whatever reason he gave, if he would have said, "I'm not for
Right,
interracial
but-
marriage,"
because as a
people would be
society-
like, "No effing
Because
way,
as
this
a
guy's crazy."
society, we've already progressed past that point. That we've already had Supreme Court rulings. Look, like I said, 2 years ago, a year ago. Sorry, a year ago.
okay.
You can edit here, guy. Make it work for you. A year ago, I would have said, "Look, in 40 years, we're going to be embarrassed about this because." Blah blah. I would have had no idea that in only a year we would have legal marriage for all people, except for polygamists, and that's next, and it should be next.
Should
However,
be next. Yeah.
so it's because of that change, like 50 years ago or 60 years ago, whenever the interracial marriage became the law of the land. You can legislate morality. It just takes a little time after the law is changed.
It's got to percolate.
Here's the thing that we are changing right now, and this goes to the point of when we talk about on our show these people, and I get angry and I get fired up about it. It's because we're talking about Kim Davis's. Right now in this country, and this is Pew Research,
Pew 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 pew.
58% of millennial Republicans, 58% of millennial Republicans are A-OK with gay marriage. That means that you have dinosaurs like Mike Huckabee. You have dinosaurs
You're what?
like Rick Santorum, who are they're just through attrition because they're going to die off, and they're going to leave a new generation of Republican Party. Here's the problem that we face right now, though. It's that is the Republican Party going to survive until that new generation is able to take control? And the Republican Party in this cycle is super important. I know everybody says this is the most important election of all time. This might be, but only for the Republican Party, not for the country. It's the most important election for the Republican Party from that perspective, that if they don't get their stuff together, you see that? If they don't get their ducks in a row, so to speak, we're going to have a hard time because those millennial Republicans may just switch.
That's a good stat. I like that because it also means, when you were gone, I brought up the fact that gay people are beaten up and harassed and killed at a higher rate than everyone else.
Well,
Now, if
actually,
what he's saying there, reduces that, that's good. That's a positive effect of gay marriage. Yes.
I heard a couple of comments when I was in the kitchen filling up the bourbon glasses on the live stream, and I have to say the audio on the live stream is fantastic.
Yeah?
It sounds like you're in the room.
Oh.
All right,
Now, the
hang
video's
on.
terrible.
Real quick. Percentages by religion who support and oppose. Fully 85% of those who are religiously unaffiliated favor same-sex marriage, as do 62% of white mainline Protestants and 56% of Catholics. Among black Protestants, 33% favor same-sex marriage, 57% oppose, and 27% of white evangelical Protestants favor it. 70% oppose. So there's your answer. Thank you, Brittany.
Oh, Brittany, awesome.
Brittany.
Thank you. That's cool.
So, I mean, that's your answer. 70% oppose.
Of the white evangelical.
white evangelical.
I wish they would just go away anyway because
Yes,
apparently
sir.
they don't even vote.
So you're saying you think my parents should go? Oh no, my parents vote.
Do they vote? Okay.
Oh yeah, they're actively involved in the party
I wish
politics
they would just
of Idaho.
maybe not vote.
Yeah.
I don't care
Dave, the
for
thing-
the evangelicals so
The
much.
thing
I don't
that
know.
we lose in our bubble here in our metropolitan area, being in Orange County and LA, and being in
Did she like my bumper sticker, by the way, Brittany?
She probably did not
Oh,
like it. I
okay.
don't know.
in a coastal region is this, as soon as you drive an hour or two out, you go out to Apple Valley, California,
My dad lives there.
right?
I've been many
Every church is full of these people that you're talking about. You drive anywhere in the U.S., you pull into any church that's along any highway, you're going to walk in, and there's a good chance you're going to listen to these same people that you're talking about. Because that's what our country is still
Yeah,
primarily.
I do hate the Leviticus people, like the abomination should, but I don't like them at all.
Listen, man, it's I give credit to the Westboro Baptist Church types for this that they're following the Bible.
Sure.
You can't listen. In my mind, I don't understand how I have no clue how you could be gay and be a Christian, because it's in there, man. It's in there. And it's not that's for the time. That's culturally. It also says in the Bible that God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. So if your God was the same then as he is now, and that he'll be in 100 million years, he's the same God who said, take them queers out to the edge of the city and everybody get together and kill them by throwing rocks at their head.
And their blood will be on their own heads.
That's hands.
Hands.
But we have to move past that.
How when God's the same yesterday, today, and forever?
Yeah, we have to move past that.
Well, it sounds like we are.
Everyone
We are.
in
Right.
every religion around the world, this is
Wait, the only thing... Let me jump in real quick before I forget this. I have to go on his show again to say it. Which I don't mind. I love it. The only thing I'm worried about with this is good. The 58% of Republican religious, that's good.
By the way, it's not me hitting the mics here.
No, that was me.
Did you see though that I think there was was it in Britain? They were saying like 50% of the young people don't identify as heterosexual, straight, or gay. Like they're bisexual. That seems like an alarmingly high thing.
If you had an actual statistic and not something you're just like it's a shadow.
It was
inside
around
your
50%.
head.
Maybe I'll have to send it over to you.
You should.
So you can talk. I will. I'll look for it.
I can't.
I'll look for it.
I can't answer.
But it was alarmingly high. Like what's the current 2%, 1.5% are gay or not straight?
I think gays would say 6 to 12 or 10 to 12%, and I
10
think
to 12%.
I think it's legitimately more like 6% of human beings are
Anyway,
homosexual.
it's a sizable number of people, even if it's 3%.
But it's consistent throughout history too. It's not. That's not just a new.
But now
number.
apparently it's like a huge bump. But I'll try to send you that info. But
Yeah.
this is the part of the gay marriage. The super lefty folks who they just hate gender differences. They want to get rid of he and she, these whack jobs. I think it's a little too far because ultimately women do want dudes who are dudes.
Definitely new. It's new territory, and I think it's. I mean, I started to write this book about being a man, a capital M man, and I've since kind of lost the motivation for it because we're in a new time. With gender, and I used to rail against that word that when people say people's gender, and so gender's for language, sex is for humans. But really, when you look at what would be considered, I think, in the DSM, gender dysphoria disorder, and these the things that they're kind of reevaluating right now in the psychological community, it's a different time. And we're starting to understand, and it's the same thing, and I don't want to conflate two issues, but the reason that there are higher levels of autism in America or wherever is because of the fact that we are better at diagnosing. It's not just that kid's a little mental, we're going to sit him over in a corner. It's we understand that there's a spectrum of autism, and that kid's on that. He's not just the wacky kid who counts toothpicks.
Right. We expanded the definition, and we also have changed our diet and food intake. And I don't think we have any evidence showing what hormones are changing children. It's not vaccines, we know that.
It's not Nesquik, I bet.
It probably is Nesquik. It probably is
I agree
Nesquik, actually.
With your lovely wife on that, by the way. It's awesome that they responded. It was good.
But we don't have evidence that all the hormones in processed food are causing autism. All we know is we've expanded our intelligence about what is
exactly
autism.
Right.
And when we look at it, other than the misdiagnosis, we're finding a lot more of it.
Yeah.
It's funny, though, if you look at the map of who's been diagnosed with ADHD and specifically, you go to New Jersey, it's like 99%. Like what? Why is it 99% of kids in New Jersey but not other places? Because they're just diagnosing. Hey, you're not sitting still. I'm going to med you up.
Yeah. And, we were talking about the.
Let's get the bee out of the bonnet. Did we?
Yeah.
Did we address that?
I just wanted to see if you were. You kind of.
I don't think
loosened
all
up a little
Christians
bit.
hate.
Right.
I
Okay.
don't. It's just when we talk about it on the show.
Okay.
We're talking about the hate mongeriest of the hate mongers.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
But you're right. We're in a new time gender wise, and I'm thinking, like I was saying, maybe it could be good for, like I said, gay bashers. We probably have fewer of them. Awesome.
We for sure have fewer.
And the manly man thing, I think that might even be a nice thing to go. Wait, possibly. But because
I'm a manly man.
Yeah, you are, and you would protect women, right?
Yeah.
But
I cry.
Yeah, you do.
But it doesn't.
But who would you protect them from? other men. That's the problem. Like, you don't protect them from tigers and bears.
I don't know.
It's other men
Who is it?
attacking them.
I don't know if you're into editing, but you might want to cut this Louis C.K. bit in where he talks about, I think it's Louis C.K., where he talks about the number one threat to women over in history of the world. It's men.
Men. Yeah.
Men we are terrible bastards.
We're
and
top of the food chain.
Yes, it's not good. We're fewer of the population. 48% of the population. By the way,
speaking of that, what do you think would happen? Just thought experiment. What do you think would happen if everything was the same except women were the ones who were 4 times stronger than us? How do you think that would go?
And they were women as they are now?
Yeah.
We'd make bigger sticks to hit them with.
It would be less oppression, I'm sure. I'm sure there would be some bad stuff going down because any group that you put in charge, large and in charge.
Mm-hmm. I know I sprung that on you quick, so I was just a thought.
Well, I don't think it would be all peace and love.
No. Good, yeah. I don't think
of
so.
course not. They're human beings.
It's a funny Jay Leno bit from 20 years ago.
You mean an unfunny bit from 20 years ago?
Yeah, he used to be better before he did the Tonight Show. I used to love him on like the Letterman show, but he'd said it was a news story. People were thinking it would be so much better if women ran all the countries, all the world's nuclear powers and stuff. And he said, "Oh yeah, how would that go? Hey, France, this is Britain. Why are you bombing us?" And France says, "Oh, I think you know why." So that might be a ladies running the show there. That was a showstopper. It's crickets.
3.8% of the adult population who identified. Oh wait, now maybe I'm reading the wrong thing here.
We don't want to conflate our
Is
statistics.
this Brittany weighing in?
Yeah,
thanks, Brittany.
She's watching and she's chiming in, which is great.
Yeah, that's cool.
Come over here, Brittany.
Can we talk just real quick about politic debate stuff just before
Yes,
we go? I know we're way long here.
Well, we're going to go long, but that's okay because we have a live
Is it okay?
audience.
Because this guy has to drive
do
home.
your thing.
Okay.
I mean, I don't want to go more than like another 40 minutes, but
Do your thing.
Oh God.
I'm good. Listen, I'm not.
I want to bring up one point about Kim Davis before we move on to debate stuff.
Did you like our Kim Davis song, by the way? Did you hear it?
I did.
Okay,
It
good.
was good. I like that kind of stuff, so it's good.
So I was having an off-pod conversation with a friend of mine, lawyer Rob, who's going to be starting his own ranting podcast soon. I'm hoping to work with him in a couple weeks about this. And as I was arguing with him about how Kim Davis is the devil and how she's denying people their rights, he said, well, it's not actually the law yet in Tennessee.
It's Kentucky.
Kentucky, I mean. And I said, well, no, but the Supreme Court, and he said, no, don't you remember back in high school, the Supreme Court doesn't make laws.
He's a lawyer, right?
The Kentucky,
so he knows everything.
Well, he's a lawyer, so he was explaining to me that even though we don't like Kim Davis, she may still be right under the law until the Congress changes that. So Kentucky has to pass some laws.
Listen, if they've extended and they've understood that particular statute that they were ruling on, that law, whatever law it was, the specific Obergefell, that case, and they extended 14th Amendment under the Constitution protection, and I'm not a lawyer, I'm clearly not a lawyer, but this is basic Constitution. If they've extended under the 14th Amendment, that is a federal right. So it's not... It doesn't need to be. They don't need to rewrite laws. They don't need to rewrite the Kentucky Constitution. The federal law trumps everything else.
I think
certainly if she wanted to, she could do it.
She could do it
because she's been given the okay. She's just being a bitch about it.
I think that if somebody were to sue the Cook County, right? Cook County, was that the
Rowan County?
Rowan County. If they were to sue Rowan County and go all the way up to the Supreme Court would vote in the favor of the person denied because...
Here's my guess, and you can ask lawyer Rob, and I'm not impugning lawyer Rob's skills. He's going to listen to me like, who was that guy? They wouldn't hear the case. They would say, nope, we've already ruled on this. We're not going to even listen to this, which shuts it down. So, which they've already done. To Kim Davis's appeal to the Supreme Court, they said,
I've already ruled on
Listen
this.
to the hand or whatever the Supreme Court says. The legal stuff. I don't know.
So it seems like a technicality that Kim Davis is saying. Well, it's not the law yet, but it will be. I'm sure.
I want to hear from an ex nut job Christian who's no longer a nut job, but would used to be a nut job Christian. How isn't she? Wouldn't Jesus absolve her? She thinks Jesus is not going to give her a pass to heaven if she puts her name on the stinking document. That's what she said. Isn't she? If they say, other than murder or something, if they say,
Well, even
the-
murder's
the-
good
the-
to go.
well, yeah, the
And Galatians is all about grace. It's
the
all,
rule, the kings, your betters have said it's okay for you to do this, or we're actually commanding you to do that. Just because she does that, she's not like defying Jesus's law, is she? Or,
Well, listen, I'm not a Christian anymore, but I would say give unto Caesar what is Caesar's. If you work for Caesar, do for Caesar what Caesar asks of you. And if you can't do for Caesar what Caesar asks of you, then stop doing for Caesar. Quit Caesar's the employ of Caesar. If you can't do it, then get out.
that sounds reasonable to me.
Go, sow the ground with your coverall wearing weirdo husband. Have you seen this guy, her husband?
No. Her fourth husband?
Oh,
Or
wow.
third or
It's
fourth?
her second and fourth husband.
Second and fourth?
Yeah.
She married the
She
same
married him
guy
twice?
twice?
Yeah.
Oh, was she think she's Liz Taylor or something? That's crazy.
I don't know.
Oh, my goodness.
Nice. Wonderful.
I wanted to ask Jesse real quick because I didn't hear the special debate show because I'm not yet a Foofy member yet, like the top
But
level.
you too could be a Patreon
right.
supporter at
So I've been waiting. I
patreon.com.
want to hear, although as you said, it might be stale by the time you release it, but just in general, watching the debate, watching the people who gut level, who seems to present themselves in the most presidential fashion, other than Donald Trump, who. Yeah, no, who seems presidential to you of the folks?
Well, that's a loaded question. What do you mean? You mean who
don't-
would I support, or who seems presidential?
Who seems like you can imagine flash forwarding? Yeah.
Yeah.
5 years. Who do you picture on the podium talking about the recent horrible crap that's going down with Iraq's nuclear weapons they attained?
Right now in the Republican field, I'm a fan of John Kasich,
No, okay.
governor of Ohio, former budget chairman of the House of Representatives, former balancer of the budget during
that's
the
a good thing.
Gingrich Revolution.
Does he have a chance, do you think?
Well, his numbers don't look good right now, but they're where Carly Fiorina's were before the debate. So I mean, anything can happen.
She sounded
right now.
good. She sounded
I
pretty
liked her a lot. I
clear.
liked her a lot.
Not a fan.
I didn't say I like her, but she sounded like
Well, no, listen.
very reasonable.
She is definitely taking this seriously, which is something to be said in this field of candidates. When you've got Mike Huckabee and you've got,
There's gonna be a lot of drinking
mean-
if I'm in the presidency.
it's
First thing we're gonna do is have a lot more drinking.
well, that was a funny thing he said. He wasn't being serious about, we're just going to drink. What he was making reference to was what Reagan did. He goes, what did Reagan do? Everybody criticizes me because I always have something bad to say about Hillary Clinton. He goes, what did Reagan do when he took office? He started sitting down and drinking with Tip O'Neill and making deals with the most liberal guy in the House of Representatives. He goes, so in my administration, we're going to drink more. He's making
I like that statement, actually.
He's making a stab at being conciliatory.
Yeah.
And listen, he's a senator. It's the deliberative body of the two houses in our Congress. They should be debating with one another. There shouldn't be these cloture vote battles and all this filibustering all the time. It really should be where we're going to debate and we're going to come together and make a compromise. That's not a dirty word, and it has become in the modern Republican Party
A dirty word.
a dirty word.
I hate to say there's
Well,
anything I
both
like about
sides hate-
Huckabee, but he
Yeah,
was
that.
pretty funny.
He's always funny. No, he's a personable, very funny guy. He's just
Like, God, I'd have a drink with you if I didn't hate you so much.
Very Jesus.
Oh, he
Jesus
wouldn't
wants
drink
us
with
to
you.
do
He's-
this. Jesus
he's-
wants us to lower
Yes.
taxes. Jesus
Yes.
wants us to do this.
That's right. Even though
Lord.
Jesus was a socialist. Don't kid yourself.
Was he a big government guy?
socialist. He was a socialist. He
Yeah.
for sure was take care of the poor.
What's your big? Well, Christians believe that even if they're right wingers,
They do?
take care of the poor.
They-
Don't they?
do they?
Don't they donate time to work at the homeless
Do they
shelters?
believe
they?
that, or do they say
Or do they
that?
just give money to their church?
Actually, I'm going to take your word for that because you know better.
I
Than
know I don't. I only know my
Because
experience.
yeah, right. But I have none of that experience. So in the churches out there in
There are
in
many,
Idaho,
there are many wonderful organizations that run soup kitchens and food pantries and take their work directly out to the people in need.
Yeah, there are. There are.
well, I believe in take care of the poor too. It's just you do a much better job of it if you do it at the local level. So that's all. That's all.
I totally agree.
Federal's bad for them, actually.
Listen, I think that this is an argument that is a legitimate argument. The Bernie Sanders method of doing things, I think, is a legitimate way to talk about it. And then also, I think if you have a legitimate candidate and not just throw up a wall, we're going to build a wall. If you have someone who can really intellectually speak on these matters, it's way better than just this wild, crazy, inane rhetoric that means nothing. That's why I like John Kasich. That's why I like John Kasich.
Well,
okay, I'm going to take a second look at him because I respect Jesse's opinion on that. But I have to say, I actually like Bernie Sanders a little bit because he has not attacked people in a crazy way. Yes, that's very good. And he seems to be very level-headed.
You need to get a little bit more phlegm.
Little phlegmier?
Little phlegm.
Building a wall it's not something unique to us. The country, Hungary, is already building a wall to keep refugees out. Like they got a barbed wire fence. Listen, they said, hey, we're going to have a problem. Let's get to work right now.
That is a difficult thing, and we haven't talked about it on the show. So it's new to you folks watching on YouTube. I don't blame these countries who want to strictly limit how many refugees they take in. Listen, it might be unpopular to say, and it's a bummer that it's the case, but there's only so much money to go around, and these people aren't going to immediately hit the ground running and start their own businesses. No. They're going to be a drain on the system. And these countries aren't wrong in trying to protect their own interests. I think we should take on a share of them just because it's altruistic and it's the way things should be when you're a country of great wealth. But I don't think we should take on half of them or, 500,000 of them. We should take on 50,000, maybe 75,000 of them.
When you say take on, you mean like they come through the turnstile and we go, and you are, and we write their name down? Or we just let the floodgates open,
they're definitely
like we have in the Rio Grande area where people are just...
Of course not. That's not what I believe.
I know.
There should be some vigilance relative to national security.
Yeah.
But ultimately what I'm trying to say, as you goad me in, is that I don't believe that these countries are wrong for, I have sympathy for the cameraman who tripped the group of refugees.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Who just got an invite to go to Spain because that guy was like a soccer coach in Syria, and now he's got an offer to go work for the Spain soccer team. Once he learns, they put him up in an apartment, his family. Once he learns Spanish, he's got a job guaranteed. But listen, I think she's kind of a bitch for doing it. She's kind of a lame person for doing it. However, I understand the protection of the homeland kind of a thing. And but I don't blame
you. You used to wear a uniform and protect the homeland.
I did.
So
I did.
Hey, Brittany,
McDonald's.
Brittany, did you know that Jesse was a Marine?
I was a Marine, a United States Marine.
So if Syria is having a problem...
She's like our ghost co-host today. It's cool.
Syria's having problems, and people are running for their lives.
Why are you interrupting the sacred Marine hem?
I was listening.
This is terrible.
Why don't we have the countries that are neighbors to them, that have the most in common with the people, the closest languages, the most dietary beliefs in Iraq and Jordan?
You're right. Yes.
How about Saudi Arabia?
They've taken on zero. Let me ask you, why you the foundation of your question? Why don't we have these countries do this? How do we do that?
Now, why don't those countries,
that is the better
out of the goodness of their heart,
you're right,
say, hey, you know what? We're neighbors, and we could take on 10,000 of you, and we're going to help another 10,000
especially
get through.
Colossally wealthy countries like Saudi Arabia, like
Arabia,
all of
Egypt,
the Arab nations,
Jordan.
Well, that's a good question. Why aren't they?
Right, the same reason that
well, I don't
Syria,
know how many Egypt have taken in, but I know that Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Yemen, Oman, those countries are taking on like zero.
Well, that's the same reason that the Palestinians are forced into Israel, because they were refugees and they weren't accepted into the other countries. Jordan wouldn't take any of them.
Right.
Syria wouldn't take them. Iraq kicked them out. So that here they are.
Where did they come from? You don't know this. Come on. Off the top of your head?
Come on. I knew this.
You're the resident Jew.
Bad Jew.
I know.
Bad Jew.
you learn a lot of things over 20 years. You forget a lot of things over 20
Where did they
years.
come
Here's the deal, though, is that over the course of the last 50 years, 60 years, we're going on 70 years
Yep.
here with the
Yep.
Palestinian-Israeli thing. Look, they're there now. They're not refugees anymore. That's their home. And the Jews weren't there, and this might be I don't know your demo, but the Jews weren't there until 1948. So, thousands of years before
Officially,
We were always there. But then it was not owned by Israel.
that. It wasn't a nation state.
The country was owned by Britain.
Yes, right. Just like India was also owned by Britain, and South Africa was also owned by Britain.
well, that whole thing is very far into the weeds. But the only way,
Super far into the weeds
Yeah.
for sure.
the way I make my decisions based on that, though, is as I just go, which side targets little babies in strollers and which side doesn't.
Yeah,
That's how I choose my side.
I am no fan of the PLO, of Hezbollah and Hamas and these different groups in that entire region. I am not. But I also believe that we spend way too much money on Israel as an ally and a foreign aid, for sure. Too much.
I don't think we spend enough.
Yeah.
Israel is our only foothold to keep out the crazies. Israel is
Is it a foothold or does it attract more crazy?
Israel is the doorstop that keeps all of the wackadoodle Middle East crap over there.
How so?
Israel has the biggest police force there.
Why? Why do they?
They have the most modern
Because
military.
of us. Because of us.
Yeah.
They're not flying Russian fighter jets.
No.
They're flying
They spend
F-16s and
a lot of
F-15s.
money with us.
Yeah.
They
and they
give
also
us
spend
a
a lot of the
money.
money that we give to them. I don't know if it's this case anymore, but they are the number one recipient of U.S. foreign aid. Number two was Egypt. I don't know if it's that case anymore after the Arab Spring. The Arab Spring,
everybody.
But
Johnny Carson.
and
over
I'm
here.
not even advocating for no aid to Israel. I'm just saying, come on.
Could scale
At
it-
what
could
point
scale
are
it
they
back
not
a
going to
little
be
bit.
able to stand on their own 2 feet? They're an ally. That should be enough. No?
I was under the impression that Israel has been standing on their own for a while, but apparently
How much aid
they
do we
are
give them?
the
What's the number?
second second highest recipient of foreign aid.
Number two. What's number one?
Afghanistan.
Well, that would make sense after the war.
More
Kind of
than-
a repatriation kind of a thing.
Yeah, almost double.
Right. But it used to be, back before that, it was Israel and then number two, Egypt. I need to maybe refresh my...
Well, according to the Book of Knowledge, it is Afghanistan, Israel, Egypt, Jordan, and the West Bank.
Yeah, Jordan doesn't need our money either.
What kind of a cosmic joke is it that all of our oil that we need is right under those effing
Yeah.
countries? It's like, so God is
We don't
such a
need
dick
their
sometimes.
oil, Dave.
If there
We
was a
have
guy.
our own supply. We've got it. It's all right here
We have enough.
in the beautiful
yeah,
United
well,
States.
yeah.
Listen, it's like in Alaska right now, and they're not letting us drill because of the tundra and the caribou or whatever that little tiny area is. There's plenty of oil. There's plenty of oil even to extract. I mean, the Nazis came up with a technology to turn coal into petroleum and therefore into gasoline. And there was a region in Utah that was turned into a federal reserve by Bill Clinton, which has the second highest largest coal deposit on the planet. And what's the bank? I'm getting way over my head because I don't have the.
I did not know that.
There
I
is
like this.
a Saudi who is backing some bank. Anyway, I'm going to shut up because I don't have all the details and I'm stupid for even starting it. But we have enough natural resources. One, we need to get off fossil fuel first and foremost. Absolutely, that needs to happen.
That will
Why?
happen with innovation.
But we
Why?
need to. Why do we need to? Because
why?
it's limited. It's a limited resource.
But it's not limited for us for the next 100 or 200 years.
That's limited. If we want to be a nation for the next 1,000 or
probably turn into
2,000
500
years,
years.
Yeah, but over the next 100 or 200 years, we can develop adequate solar
well,
technology.
why don't we
We
start
will.
now to do that?
I think we have.
We
are.
have to start at some point.
We have.
We are. I think we're.
And solar's not it. We need to expand.
Oh, it's solar.
No.
It is.
We need-
Abs- if we took
We need to
just-
expand our nuclear power.
nuclear power
infrastructure.
would be wonderful.
Absolutely
But if
too,
we
yeah.
just took the rooftops in the United States, blanketed them with solar panels, and put Tesla-style batteries in each one, we would generate enough power for every electrical use in the world today. The entire world could be powered by the solar technology today.
But at night, the nuclear generators come on.
Well, that's what the Tesla
no
battery
sunlight.
is for.
The battery, right?
You know,
Listen,
by the way,
I'm-
you know
listen,
who's one of the people responsible for having no nuclear power plants built in like the last 30 or 40 years here?
the United States.
Right, United States.
Oh, California.
No,
Or-
no,
oh,
a
was
person.
that
There's a
the
single
answer?
person. I just
Ooh,
learned from
is
reading.
it Governor Moonbeam?
No, reading from. Well, he gives himself credit for it. Actually, is reading Graham effing Nash from Crosby, Stills and Nash. He got together the No Nukes concert.
How is he?
He claims
one knucklehead. Come on.
Well, they raised awareness, and ever since then, there's been
Right.
he's taking credit for it. So it's like, all right,
Now that's crazy
douche.
because our nuclear technology is at the point where you could have a small reactor in your backyard, like literally the size of your air conditioner, that would power your neighborhood for
The Navy's been doing it for many, many years.
500 years and produces zero waste.
That's right.
Our technology is so high that there's absolutely
I think it's
no
70
waste.
or 75, and everybody on YouTube will want to fact check me here, but I think 70 to 75% of France, it's at least 70 to 75 of France. We're not talking about
embarrassing
some
that they're
radical
ahead of us.
conservative administration over there. 70 to 75% of their power grid is powered by nuclear energy, which is safe. It is clean. There is some after effect that you need to deal with, but it is safe.
Well, if you're
safer
talking
than mining coal.
if you're
apparently.
talking about
Like, way safer.
1960s technology, which is what the reactors that we have,
You're talking
that-
about
that shut down-
pre-internet.
Yeah, if you're talking about well, you don't
pre-cassette tape
you don't
technology.
You don't want your nuclear reactor to be on the internet. I'm just telling you.
No, but
you
I'm
don't
saying
want
this is
that
how
on.
long ago 1960s
But
technology
if we go
was.
back, I mean, and the ones that were built in the 60s were not built with 1960s technology. They were designed in the 50s.
Right.
Those things take a long time to build.
Right.
This is a whole different ball game. Japan's
Yes.
talking about,
Brittany, we'll wrap up soon. I'm so sorry, Brittany.
I think she
fine.
already logged off.
She probably did.
She's like, I'm done with these guys.
It's nice to have the statistical help
Yeah,
on the phone every once in a
that
while.
was cool. I like
Yeah,
that.
some of the numbers. I didn't. I was late to the party too because I looked over and I'm like, oh,
That was awesome.
she's trying to chime in here.
So cool.
Okay, well, I don't think we should get into food safety tonight. So just
No,
to
you
think
and I-
about
It could
We're
be a
gonna-
double episode.
We're
You
doing
just chop it
our
up.
food safety
Yeah.
podcast after he goes home.
in
so
a
I'm
in a
getting
couple
ready.
of weeks, Dave, I want to talk to you about this food safety sort of epidemic that's going on. You know, the 9 people died of salmonella because of this one peanut executive who's got 28 years in jail. That's something else crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some stuff about boiling. Well, I'll ask one question. How do you tell if an egg is good or bad? Do you know this?
I don't know if I ever knew that. I don't know, spinning it or something, or
So apparently there's a Google hot topic right now that if you float an egg, if it floats, it's supposed to be bad, and if it doesn't, it's supposed to be good. Now this is complete BS.
Yeah, that doesn't say. I think something having to do with the salinity of the water will cause an egg to sink or float.
Well, if you want it to float, you put some salt in it for sure.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
eggs naturally, as they age, not whether they're good or bad, but just as they're a couple weeks old,
and you produce eggs on the premises here, or your chickens do it.
yeah.
He has chickens right out there in the chicken.
You know,
coop, so
a lot-
he knows what he's talking
A
about.
lot of my jokes do fall flat, Dave, but I don't appreciate you calling them eggs.
Oh,
Rotten
I-
eggs.
sorry.
So oxygen does form inside the egg, and all eggs will float eventually. That
Okay.
doesn't mean they're bad, but that's the kind of thing
Okay.
that I've been thinking about lately. That and Common Core,
A lot of misinformation out there. We're
Common
gonna
Core
clear it
test
up.
scores.
Hang
Real
on.
quick.
No, real quick.
Oh, okay,
I
you
got,
got
a
some.
fact check here from another listener
Oh.
of ours,
Oh,
Great.
Ben from California. France derives about 75% of its electricity from nuclear energy.
Yes, they are
So-
reckless,
so off the
environment
top-
destroying frogs
Off
over there.
the top of my stupid
Yeah,
head.
that was good. Yeah, that was good.
Thank you, Ben, very much.
Let's all move to France, everybody.
No.
I thought it was up there too, but I'm giving you props for getting the number. That was damn close. Good.
It's pretty good. And
You mean naming the number is close?
Yeah.
When you
Would
name
say
the exact
was it
number,
the exact number 70?
Yeah.
Or
No,
what?
I said 70 to 75
Okay.
and 75.
No, that's good. Very good.
Never giving me
That's
credit.
why we
over
had.
here,
No, it was
this
awesome.
guy.
That's why we have him on the show.
So anyway, so you're the food thing, so the egg thing. I want to know about this because I've for a long time thought that eggs they're good for not ever, but they're good for a long
yes,
time.
that's
Yes.
exactly it. They're good for a long. You have your eggs in the fridge, and your fridge works, right? If your fridge doesn't work, they're going to go bad.
Yeah.
Your fridge works. You're good for 5 weeks,
Yeah.
and if you cook them, it's fine.
I've eaten eggs way longer than that, thinking that eggs just don't go bad if they're in the fridge.
They're fine. You cook them, they're fine.
Yeah. I know a guy who would throw away his eggs. Brittany is laughing right now, but I know a guy who would throw away his eggs at the expiration date every single time.
Which
And
is
it's, what are you
such
doing?
a scam.
Yeah.
That'll last for months and months later.
Right.
I'm going to do some research over outside of the show and go to the local grocery stores and see if they will give me food
Oh,
that is
yeah.
that is past the
Because
use by
eggs,
date.
especially because the draconian policies of California have gone up in price by almost 50% at retail. I mean, it's
Yeah.
insane how expensive eggs are now
Yeah.
because of the regulation on how much space a chicken needs.
Mm-hmm.
No good.
Now,
boy.
unfortunately, my chickens don't make enough to completely cover our egg usage.
Try steroids or
No, that's all right. 2 to 3 eggs a day. We supplement it with our $6 dozen of eggs from the store.
Yeah.
No, we get Costco.
Can we buy eggs through Amazon from out of state? Is that possible yet?
No, you don't.
Well,
want them out of
here's
state.
the problem.
You
We've
don't
covered
know.
this on the show. On I Doubt It with Dollamore, everybody. We've it's because California is such a draw for eggs that the rest of the country has just had to adopt California standards because they ship their eggs here. Some growers, because it's either you have to decrease your flock size because you're increasing the size of the space they live in,
Or increase the space.
or increase the space. So it's a lose-lose for the producer.
But those poor chickens, they sure are getting.
How much space do they need now?
It's a
Do you-
bummer
do
for
you
the
remember?
chickens for sure.
You're
I
good
think
with numbers
I think
tonight.
they were
How
getting
much
about
square
this
footage?
much space per chicken, and they didn't have time to grow eyeballs.
No, I don't know the exact
And now they
number.
can stretch out
It's
their
definitely
wings.
small. They need to be able to turn around and
Mm-hmm.
it's admittedly terrible conditions they live in when they're there, and I don't know if you can see me here, but I'm scrunched in, and then I'm just squatting out eggs. You know what I mean? It's not good. It's definitely a
Right.
bummer, but I like my eggs to be cheap.
Me
so.
too. And I don't want to mistreat animals.
It's a chicken.
But chickens don't have a desire to self-actualize. They're not thinking
They
about
don't?
There's none of them are wanting to. There's not one that's writing a novel in there. He's like,
What animal's
like,
writing a novel?
Yeah,
Dave?
right. None
Or
of them. They
dolphins
don't even have
who are very
desire to.
smart.
So they're generally like thinking, I'm thirsty, I'm hungry, I pooped. That's generally what they're thinking. Yes, I'd prefer they could walk around a little bit. Do they ever let them out of those
The
things
only
at
thing
all, or do they
chickens want to
always
do
stay
are
there?
run around and eat. That's
Okay.
it.
Okay. So we're taking away the running a little bit, but they are chickens, as Jesse said.
They're chickens.
They're chickens.
Yeah.
Don't pump them full of hormones so that I can enjoy them a little bit more.
I enjoy some hormone-filled chicken. I'll tell you right now.
What do you say we wrap it up? Call it a good night. It's been a pretty
I'm
good
gonna
show.
call it a good night. I had a lot of fun.
It was a good time. I appreciate you guys having me on. It's always it's a good
thank
time
you
to
for
have
coming.
a spirited conversation,
Yeah.
especially when there's a ukulele involved.
That's right. Ukulele. After we finish the show up, we'll do a little ukulele for the live stream, which I promised to end by 11:30. So there's only a few more minutes of the live stream available. So with that, I'd like to thank everyone for subscribing to the show. You can find the Indispensable Thursday show on iTunes and everywhere that fine podcasts are served. We want to hear your voice. Call our hotline at
657-206-0777.
Oh my God.
657-206-0777.
Everybody knows it now. And leave us a message. We really appreciate your iTunes Store reviews. We invite you to follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/The Indispensable Thursday Show, or follow us on Twitter at Sable and Dave. Bye, Jesse.
See you guys later.
Pack fudge, pack heat.
Pack fudge, pack heat, Dave.